On this, the 9th day of the 12 days of VGU, we're giving you a very special glimpse into the year ahead. What you're about to hear is the first installment of the next VGU Gaiden series, Oh Say Can You See, A Beginner's Guide to Gundam. Starting in January, you can hear the full series weekly on the VGU Gaiden podcast feed, link in the description of this current episode you are listening to. Now, without further ado, please enjoy our discussion of the films Mobile Suit Gundam the Movie and Mobile Suit Gundam 2 Soldiers of Sorrow. Well, speaking of Zaku's, shall we begin?
Yeah. Wagyu
Okay.
Wednesdays.
Wagyu Wednesday. Let's see, let me pull up my notes. So much notes and nothing to say. VGU Gaiden presents Oh Say Can You See, A Beginner's Guide to Gundam. Episode 1, Mobile Suit Gundam the Movie, and Mobile Suit Gundam 2, Soldiers of Sorrow. What the hell is the first one called?
The first one's just called Mobile Suit Gundam.
It doesn't have a subtitle?
No, it doesn't. And then the second is called Soldiers of Sorrow.
Soldiers
Mobile
of
Suit
Sorrow.
Gundam. So it's Mobile Suit Gundam 1, Mobile Suit Gundam 2, Soldiers of Sorrow, and I don't remember what the third one's called.
Tears of the Kingdom.
No. That's the second game. I think it's like the... What the fuck? No, I'm sorry. I opened up Netflix to go and check the name, and apparently The Amazing Digital Circus is on Netflix.
Really?
That's fucking crazy.
Huh.
Good for them. I love that show.
I've wanted to watch that.
Third episode just came out recently. It was really good.
Wow.
Mobile Suit Gundam. What's the third one called? Okay, can I get Mobile Suit Gundam 3? Hey, look, Edge of Tomorrow. Mobile Suit Gundam 3 is called Encounters in Space.
Okay. Spoilers.
Spoilers. There's a mobile
my-
suit, it's a Gundam, and there's an encounter in space.
My internet is not working. Literally, all I can do is Discord. So I hope this is this is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate it. Anyway, let's begin. Hello,
You
everyone.
sound fine, so.
Well, I'm glad. Hi. What are we doing here? We're doing a podcast that we haven't done in a while. It's funny when I put this podcast on all the feeds, I called it semi-weekly. And
it never, that's not how this works. It's never how that works. Say, oh, it's gonna be semi-weekly. Yeah. I remember you saying that, and I was like, yeah, good fucking luck with that, man.
But it's not monthly. Like, it's not isn't everything semi-weekly? If you think about it.
When was our last one? Like 2 months ago?
Like 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's semi-weekly, all right.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened to that, go check that out. We've done hello, welcome to VGU Gaiden. My name's Graydon. This is DJ. We are we talk about films and things that we enjoy watching, and one of them is
my current hyper obsession, Mobile Suit Gundam.
Current hyper obsession.
Yeah, current. Well, I mean, yeah, current. These go for like these hyper obsessions can go for like years at a time.
Yeah, I don't think this one's ever fallen out of.
I only got into Gundam less than a year ago. Still,
true.
Like end of October, beginning of November of 2023 is when I first got into Gundam.
Yeah. Well, in that time, you've created how many of them?
Oh, dude, I stopped counting after 120.
Yeah, it's obscene.
I gotta be at least 150, probably pushing 200 right now.
You do 2 a day on average?
No, I wouldn't say 2 a day. It can vary, but maybe 2, anywhere from 1 to 3 a week, depending on the grade of the kit. And I've been getting more. They've been taking me a little bit longer now because I've been doing bits of like painting and whatnot for some of the kits, so it kind of varies. Right now, I'm working on the Master Grade Verka Victory 2 Gundam, which is going to look real good.
I mean, you've done a fuck ton of them.
Quite
If
a
you
few.
go and you follow you on Twitter, you have basically a large majority of them
All right,
in
I
a
post them like constantly. I've
portfolioed.
Yeah, I have. I got so many. I got to start making actual customs soon because I have. I mean, my walls are lined with them. I keep having to buy new shelves because I keep running out of room.
Jesus Christ. And meanwhile, I have my 3 without even a shelf. They just sit here. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a fun thing. You've gotten me into it casually. I have enjoyed making them when I have the time to do so. And you said, I need you to watch films. I need you to get involved in the media. So I gave it a shot. And so today we're going to discuss Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam 1 and Mobile Suit Gundam 2 Season of Sorrows,
Soldiers of Sorrow.
Soldiers of Fortune.
Yep.
Got
That's
gotcha.
it. That's the theming.
Gotcha.
Go to war and get spoils. That's what Tomino said. Um, so it's worth noting that I am. So I watched the original Gundam. Um, this is actually my first time watching the movies, but I originally watched the actual series back in December into January, I want to say, um, and loved it. Absolutely fell in love with it. It holds up so well. And this is my first time actually watching the movies and seeing how they sort of edit things down. So
Huh.
I just watched. So first of all, on Sunday, so as we're recording this 2 days ago, I saw the first movie in theaters because they announced they're bringing them to theaters, which I was very excited about. So I saw the first one in a movie theater, and it was a really good time. Quite a few people there. I was pretty surprised. Usually for these anime movie things, you don't really get a ton of people coming around, but there was a good number of people in that theater. Um, and then I did watch the second one just yesterday, just sort of like in preparation for this. Even though again, I pretty much know what happens, but I haven't seen the movie versions. But I'm going to see the second one on the 20th, and then I'm going to see the third one on the 27th, and then Char's Counterattack is in March for some reason. I think it's like the somethingth anniversary because I think it came out in March of '86 or whenever it was. Um,
Because this
so
is like an anniversary year, I think,
I
of
mean,
Gundam
every
in
year is an
general.
anniversary here.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So it's the 40. This year is the 45th
Of
because
Gundam as
79.
a property.
Yeah,
Wow.
1979. Um, so it's really cool actually getting to go in and like see them in theaters and whatnot. Um, it's been really cool.
Yeah. So as you had tried to tell me before, these movies are like compilations of the
They're
show, correct?
compilations where they sort of edit things down, or they might sort of reanimate some things to suit it better, to turn them into movies. And this used to happen with like animes, like all the time in like the 80s and 90s. You'd get these compilation movies like all the time.
Okay.
You don't really see it much anymore. Um, they do still happen for like Gundam and whatnot. They happened recently. I know for Bocce the Rock. I think there was something else recently that's also getting one. Bocce the Rock is awesome, might I add. But yeah, so it's a compilation movie. Yes,
All right. And so then as you were watching the movie, you were seeing, I mean, you may not remember the series itself.
there were some things. There's some things. There is specifically one episode that is skipped that we'll talk about when we get to it that I think was a detriment. Even though it wasn't actually relative to the overall plot, I think it was one of the most thematically important episodes in the series. But otherwise, it's generally pretty good. I think the Battle of Jaburo is a little too quick. But overall, they're still really good. From what I know, when Gundam first came out, it was actually kind of a flop. and then when they made just the compilation movies, those like really hit for some reason. Um, and so it got really popular off those. But originally, it looked like Gundam was going to be a flop when it first aired.
Well, I am interested in knowing what the differences were, because I feel like I was noticing it a lot in the second one. Of
Yeah, so
like,
especially when you hit the second one, there's some stuff edited down. There's a scene with his father that's removed in the first one. Um, so first, let me talk about the couple scenes that were removed that would like to have seen in there. For the
okay,
most part, a lot of it is that they kind of shorten battles, um, so that these battles don't take up multiple episodes. Um, but one thing they removed from the first movie, so you'll note that at the beginning, like when they blow a hole in the colony station, how his father and the guy in the truck gets sucked out into space.
yeah. So I was gonna mention that, because when I told you like, oh, I've only watched like a half hour of this, because like, I watched this in short bursts, and you were like, oh yeah, they did his dad dirty or something, and
Yeah, yeah, he got sucked out into space.
but I feel like
Um,
he barely was in it from what I
so
saw.
yes, but it's more about just like him being a sort of connection for Amuro to normal life. Um,
Okay.
and with that being said, so what happens? So he goes to his mother, right? Um, and his mother basically disowns him, which is a very good episode. I think one of the best parts of the series. Very just in terms of like being thematically relevant that he's lost everything to war. You know,
Hmm.
whether or not they've been killed or otherwise. Um, in the original series, I can't remember if it's before or after that. I think it's after. He actually finds his dad. His dad's alive. Um, and
After
he's
he
also
after he
basically
gets
lost
sucked
his
into
mind.
space.
Yes, he was
Oh,
rescued at some point. We don't know who or how, but someone rescued him, and he's basically insane due to brain damage from oxygen deprivation.
oh,
So he
geez.
finds his dad, and it's like, and his dad doesn't even really notice him at first. And eventually he's like, "Dad, Dad." He's like, "Oh, Amuro, here's this piece of tech to upgrade the Gundam," and he gives him it, and Amuro's like, this is junk. Like it's nothing. Like the guy's brain is just gone. Like
Jeez.
he's just nuts now. And Amuro just sort of quietly, solemnly leaves. Um, he might not leave quietly. He might run away. It's again, it's been about a year since I've watched it, but he leaves. Um, and it's like, oh my god, like he really has nothing but the white base now.
Hmm.
The white base on the Gundam is all he has. His all of his connections to everyday normal life are gone now.
Hmm.
And they removed that scene with his father, and I really liked that. Honestly, again, you still have the general effect of he loses his connections, but I don't know. I think that scene kind of took it to the next level. Um,
I mean, from what I was given in the film, I feel like there was nothing really there. I mean, the when he ultimately goes back to his mom and stuff, like that all kind of makes that family aspect come back. But for what we've got, it just makes it seem like, well, your dad died. Guess he should just keep moving. And I mean, he had his
yeah,
friend.
yeah, but like, isn't that sad
Yeah, no, it
that
is
his
sad.
dad died? He has no choice but to keep going,
Yeah,
and
no, he's
that's exactly it. And then he has this glimmer of hope of, oh my god, my dad isn't dead. And then it's
yeah,
no, he may as well be. In fact, he's probably better off dead.
right. Yeah, and he probably would have been better off not even seeing his dad again like that.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
that's gonna mess him up.
It's really sad.
Yeah,
But it's not as
Amuro.
sad as the other scene that they removed that was first of all my single favorite episode in all of Gundam. Um,
Jeez.
it's from of all of original Gundam. I don't know if it's my favorite across all series, but in original, it's my favorite scene. Or favorite episode, and it's in the second movie. So Garma, Garma's girlfriend, the like Duchess lady or whatever, the blonde girl.
Okay.
So after Garma dies in the original series, she actually comes back for revenge. She assembles like basically a small army. I forget how, might been using money and influence, or just she gathered up people who wanted to avenge Garma. And they actually almost take out the Gundam in White Base. And so what happens is at the end of the episode, um uh they basically crash her like big like jet that she's in, and she's the only one left alive there. And Amuro doesn't know, he gets out of the Gundam, and she comes out on top of like the jet, and she points a gun at him, looking to get revenge, and she sees he's just a kid. And she's so shocked she just falls off the jet and just fucking dies. They don't
Damn.
even know her name. They have no idea who she is, and they bury her in a small unmarked grave in the middle of the desert.
Wow.
War taking yet another life that originally had nothing to do with any of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, really impactful episode, and I get why they removed it. It has no bearing on like the main plot, but it's a doozy of an episode.
Yeah, that would just kind of wrap up, because I feel like when Garma died, I mean, Char didn't give a fuck about him,
Well,
but
no, Char wanted him dead. blame
right.
blame this on the misfortune of your birth is one of like the most iconic lines in all of Gundam. It's so good. It's how I respond to work emails.
Which is so fun. Which is so funny because that whole time I felt like it was an extremely homoerotic depiction.
Yes.
Like,
So I'm gonna tell you right now, gays fucking love Char. Like they
because
love Char, dude.
he's a little twink, of course they do.
Oh my fucking god. If you go on Twitter, you look up fucking Char, there will be so many people with profile pictures of Char with like a lesbian, trans, gay, overall LGBT flag behind it. It's actually wild. Like there's a lot.
Well, those scenes were
But
super
yes, him and
gay.
Garma for sure, especially like the shower scene with
Yeah.
him leaving the fucking door open and Garma being like, "Guess I'll see you tonight then." It's like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. And then
Yes.
then you keep being like, oh, we're supposed to care about the girl and all this stuff. And oh man, now that I'm thinking about it, like I'm remembering her and that whole plot, and that's pretty wild. Like I want to see that scene that you're talking that episode you're
It's
talking about,
oh my god, I'll figure out what episode it is
because
after
there
this.
really was no
It's
ending
crazy.
to her arc at all. It
Yeah.
was just like it went
Yeah,
back to the
and again, it's because
family
she
and
doesn't have any bearing on the overall plot, so it's like I get it, but it's a powerful episode.
wow.
It's a really powerful episode, dude.
And I mean, I that kind of falls in line with like Amuro and his dad. Like this whole war
It's still
is,
tearing families apart.
yeah, but it's also like, I mean, because then you got Char and his sister there, and it's like so much of it is just any little thing that goes wrong stirs up vengeance in
Yep.
random people, like just civilians, and they're like,
Oh
well,
yeah.
fuck it, I'm in the fight now. And it's just, and then you've got the whole thing with which I didn't think was such a big deal until near the end of the second one, where they're talking about how Mirai's dad was like so big into it, and they say something like, if he was here, this war would have ended years ago or something. Like
Yeah.
this is deeply rooted in family for a long ass time.
Yeah, and
And
and that goes even to the Zabis, the people who started the war under Zeon.
mhm,
So the way it was like they assassinated Zeon Daikun, who the empire is named after, so that yes, they wanted a revolution and freedom, but they also wanted the power. And it's interesting as the series goes on, you start to see Zabi, the old man with the cane who mourns Garma, being legitimately remorseful. Like he understands what he has wrought on humanity can never be undone, and he may as well have indirectly caused the extinction of humanity one day through war.
because he started
Um
the war.
and he you see him becoming more and more remorseful, especially as his family starts to die around him as he's the oldest. There's actually this scene, I think it's in the Origin, which isn't canon to the original Gundam line, but there's this scene that's really powerful. That's Zabi is talking to a younger Garma, and he mourns having had a child at his age where he's like 70 something. And he's like, a boy should never have to watch his father die. Like at your age. And it's this like, oh my god, like it's weird that these characters they know you think are so evil, they kind of start to be humanized. And that's the whole thing is that it's a big thing. But there are no good guys really in war. I mean, there might be some cases of like black and white. I mean, like yes, the Nazis were the bad guy, but it's like we still have two groups perpetrating war here, and the Federation are not the good guys. One thing to understand, like yes, the Zeons dropped the colony, but that's only because the Federation didn't do it first.
Hmm.
Because they absolutely would have.
It's all just people like thrown into war making mistakes and just ruining shit. And I feel like what you're saying there, like it really does. There are acts that just humanize the bad guys and make them not seem so bad.
One of
Like,
the first times I think that they really show you that the Federation also sucks, is actually in the episode with or the scene with his mother. When he gets there, there's just a bunch of Federation soldiers, dudes who are supposed to be on his side, just drunk fucking up his
yeah,
house.
exactly.
Um, and then when you actually see the Zeon soldiers who come in to do a patrol around the town, they're actually pretty polite.
Yeah,
They're actually pretty polite, and it's like, okay, yeah, they're just, they're coming around doing their patrol. It's not a big deal. Um, and then again, then you have Amuro perpetrates it by flat out committing a war crime by pretending to be sick and then shooting one of them, and then and then chasing the other guy out the door and fucking emptying his clip,
yeah,
which is crazy.
just
That
guns him
that's
down.
a very powerful scene, I think, to see Amuro do that. Um,
It's really quite. I mean, I know that the whole thing is like it's a trilogy, it's an arc overall, but that first movie is a crazy arc for Amuro just in general. Like
yes.
to see him go from, and then the second one is a whole separate arc as he starts learning about new types and thinking that
Yeah,
he
as
is
you
one.
can see him start to become a new type where he just starts fucking stuff up, where
Yeah,
he's really powerful. It's kind of crazy, like the stuff he by the time you get to the battle of, I think it's Uabao or something. It's like the final battle in the 1 Year War. Um, he's doing fucking tricks, dude. Like he's not even looking, and he's shooting dudes who are like a mile away behind him, like
he's
stupidly
crazy.
powerful.
He's
And something
crazy. I
I
mean,
also want you to understand going forward, that the Gundam, by the time it meets the Goof, which is what Ramba Ral pilots,
mhm.
has pretty much it's about equal to the Goof and the Dom. Everything past that outclasses the Gundam quite a bit.
I saw that. That brings me to the other day. I saw you had a tweet about like what
Yeah, because
could
I
out.
wanted to see. I tweeted that because I was like, I feel like the Goof and Dom are kind of equivalents, and then everything after that probably outclasses it, and that seems to be the majority opinion, at least from what my Twitter room feeds are saying.
Which is the
Um,
Dom?
the Dom is the purple and black one with the launcher that can like slide along the ground. Remember
Sakura.
the purple one I posted that you love?
Yeah, yeah,
It's that
yeah.
one. So
Okay, I
technically,
remember
that's
him.
the Rick Dom, which is the spacefaring version, but basically the same thing
Okay. And then the
for
goof is
for
the
your
one I
purposes.
love, the blue one with the horns.
Yes, yes. The Goof is fantastic. It is one of my favorite 1 Year War suits. Especially when you get the Goof Custom, which is phenomenal. That's in Eighth Mobile Suit Team. Um, it has a really good fight that everyone like glazes, but it is a very good fight. It definitely deserves the glazing. Um, yes, the Goof is awesome, and it has this awesome GIF. Hold on, Goof, that I'm gonna just put in the chat for you that you could see. There's this little scene where Amuro's aiming at Ramba Ral, and as Ramba Ral's running, and you just see the scope, and it's this silly little low-res thing of the Goof sort of chugging along. It's really funny. Um, the Goof's design is awesome. I love its little mini shield, its whip. And this for me watching the original Gundam, and for my friend Ricardo when he watched it, my friend Lucas when he watched it, and a few other people I've talked to, is that the Rambo Rawl arc is when Gundam goes from good to great. Um,
Absolutely
like it
agree.
still has always had the theming, but as far as just like a lot of cool factor and stuff is where it becomes great and really becomes, I think, the Gundam we know today. Um, and that exact moment for me when I was like, okay, this is not just good, it's great, is the bar scene with Rambo Rawl.
Yes,
It
I
is
was
a
gonna bring that
very
up.
tense scene. It's so good, and it also shows Ramba Ral is not a bad man.
No, it humanizes
Not at
him
all.
too.
I love Ramba Ral. Everyone loves Ramba Ral. The fact that he knew right away this kid is the Gundam pilot.
Yeah.
He figured it out himself. Um, and, he let them go. I mean, obviously to find White Base, but he could have taken out the Gundam pilot right there and still been fine. Um,
Neutral. It was neutral
Ramba
ground.
Ral is a guy who is like he's just I don't know, he's like he has like a warrior's honor. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
I love him and Hamon. They're oh my god, they're incredible.
Yeah, I didn't know. So, are they family of Garma, or
No,
were they
no, they
just
are not.
new people?
No, they are new people. They are not related to the zombies at all. But Ramba Ral was in like the royal guard or something for um Zeon Daikun before Zabi had like killed him. So
Are they
Zeon
under
Daikun, by the
Char?
way, what?
Are they under Char? Do they work for Char?
No, but they're both like Xeon leaders.
Okay.
It's like they're basically think of them kind of like Garma, equivalent to Char.
All right.
They're just high ranking Xeon leaders again.
Gotcha. Continue. You were saying something.
Um, but yeah, Ramba Ral is amazing, and he worked under their father, which I don't want to say anything about it because their father is kind of a big thing that you'll see about later. Because there's the connection here between Sayla and Char that you're gonna see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that wrap up.
It's it's very good. It's one of like everyone's favorite like stories in all of Gundam. Um, I'll tell you right now, Sayla is unfortunately not in any other Gundam stuff. Because her voice act she was gonna be in Zeta Gundam apparently, but I think her voice actress had either died or she was sick at the time, and they wouldn't have anyone else voicing Sayla. So she's in no other Gundam series, which is tragic because Sayla's one of my favorite characters in original Gundam. She is an
Wow.
incredibly compelling and interesting character, especially as the story unfolds more, where she's supposed to be like she seems to hate actual fighting more than anyone.
Hmm.
Um, and that really comes out in her character. You see her very briefly in Zeta Gundam, where Quattro is giving this speech where he reveals that he's actually Char. Um, and she sort of watches it like or is listening to it on a radio as she's like out on a boat. But she doesn't say anything again because of her voice actress being gone. But she's like you see her very briefly. Um, and Sayla's just awesome. Oh, you know what? She's also got a good sci-fi name, Sayla Mass. Sayla Mass is a very good sci-fi name. You get a lot of good sci-fi names at Gundam. As far as like being a sci-fi goes, I do find it funny because like they'll have like okay, they have these bars that they ride around the ships to get through on like zero G like environments and whatnot. They have big robots. They have all of these like machines and spaceships, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's like a refrigerator from 1954. Yeah, we still use horses sometimes. Yeah, we just have like a Jeep. So I've always found that kind of funny that some of the tech is like actually pretty interesting as far as like what would tech look like so far in the future, and then some of them are just like, nah, just use what we got now.
Yeah, I mean, I think
But it's
even
interesting though. It makes for this really weird blend of sci-fi that I really like. Especially like think about it like Char's counterattack when when he had remember when Char had like the meeting with the Federation guys where they were just going to pay him off and then
yes,
he was going to attack anyway, but they're in like a Victorian style like manner,
yeah.
and you see that here in the original Gundam as well sometimes, and it's really interesting to see because you get sometimes I kind of forget I'm watching a sci-fi series.
No, it has this umbrella of like Victorian, like British royalty type thing, where it's like and it because it's funny because then you'll have this like grand hall and this fascist like Nazi-esque speech and all the people and their Siegs, whatever they say.
Yeah, Sieg Zeon.
Sieg Zeon, like, but then you go back to this, like, oh no, we can have our gala, like, we can have our little banquet,
Yes.
and like, it's just so,
And them
ugh.
saying Sieg Zeon, it's really easy to forget that the Federation also sucks because they will
Hmm.
show the Federation doing something shitty, but then they'll cut to Zeon fucking Sieg heiling, and it's like, oh, these guys are the bad guys. It's like, no, they're both bad guys. You know,
Right.
like
I
yes,
think
Xeon is based on the Nazis, but the Federation is just as bad.
and I think that's why it's you get like this uh from what you're seeing of the army itself, they look like the bad guys. But then when you see the Federation do like solo, like like what we were saying about Amuro, like he can go and just gun a man down on his own, and
Yeah,
it's like
and the
he's
fact that
doing it, and
they're
then
using the white base as like an experiment to see. Oh, I wonder
yeah,
what they'll do. Throw them out there with no supplies.
yeah,
Yep.
it's very crazy. I loved how that.
And there's this scene that kind of loops back to the humanization of the leader Zabi, the like old guy, where
Mhm,
I don't we'll see if they cut the scene from the third movie. It's not really plot relevant, but it's a good scene people talk about where Giran, his son with like the the short gray hair, um, says
mhm.
he's talking about what they're going to do to the Federation, how they're going to beat him, and so grandfather Zabi says, Giran, do you know of the man Adolf Hitler?
No,
And Giran goes, of course I've read about him. He was a very strong leader, and he walks away. And as he walks away, his father goes, he lost.
oh damn,
And it's this crazy scene where this dude's own father, obviously just spending all this time regretting the war, is just like, my own son is Hitler.
yeah,
It's a crazy scene. Again, one of my favorites in original Gundam.
yeah. That's wow. I'm surprised they even like mention it like it's the same world.
Oh yeah,
Like
oh
Hitler
yeah. So
existed in their
it's worth
universe.
noting that Tomino, the director of Gundam, the creator of Gundam, he was born in 1945 or
Mhm.
1946, I believe. So his first memories are of Japan
Yeah.
after two suns were dropped on them.
Yeah.
So you got to imagine what that does to this guy, like mentally, and you kind of start to understand how Gundam came to be, um, and how he himself had probably done so much research into World War II history and how we got to where we are. And it's so clear to see how it has inspired this.
Yeah. I mean, because at its foundation, what Gundam is the the exact war and how bad we've seen it be, but in the future because it's still just as bad.
It's in the future, and he makes sure to show that it's not so black and white.
Yeah.
Because yes, the Nazis were objectively like the bad guys, right?
Mhm.
But
Yes, we
individually,
all agree with that.
yeah, we all yeah. Oh, I hope certainly hope so. It because also it's like individually you might have guys who are on the good side, but they might not be doing good things.
Yeah. No, I mean that's
And
the
he also makes sure to really show that with Gundam. And Tomino, the thing I've noticed about Tomino writing when it comes to Gundam is it is always leagues ahead of other Gundam series. You know, I watched all the other. I've started watching other Gundams. It's like I say I haven't started Wing yet, but it's like I started Seed recently, and some people love it, some people hate it. I'm watching. I'm like, this is like fine. It's not amazing. It's not bad. It's like decent. Iron Blooded Orphans, decent. Um, G Witch, I think I just have a soft spot for because it was my first Gundam, and I
mhm.
absolutely adore the main character Soletta. Um, it's like, but everything I watched that Tomino was involved with, I'm like, oh my god, this is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So what did he do in like the first series, and then what else?
So he did original, he did Zeta, he did Double Zeta, which I'll say the first half of Double Zeta I don't like, and it's a pretty cold take. The second half is phenomenal. He charged counterattack, Hathaway. He also did Reconquista and G, which I actually love. I know a lot of people don't. Um, from what I understand, Reconquista and G originally wasn't even going to be a Gundam series. But I don't know much beyond that. Um, like all the stuff that he writes for it, I'm just like I love. Like you can feel the passion, inspiration that he has in his writing, even more than any of the other Gundam writers.
Hmm. Is that considered like the Prime universe or something? Like
Yeah,
stuff that he wrote?
Universal Century is the main universe, and of course, he wrote Turn A Gundam. The Turn A Gundam being my favorite mobile suit ever.
Right.
Given he didn't design the Turn A Gundam, Sid Mead did, but Turn A as a show is also like phenomenal.
Hmm.
It's gotten sort of a resurgence in popularity in the past like few years where people are just like Turn A Gundam's fucking incredible, and I'm like, goddamn right it is. It's so good. Oh, you know what? What do you think of the kids?
I fucking hate them.
Really?
I
Oh, I
hate
love
them.
them.
I hate them so much.
I
And
think
so
they're I
this
think
is
they're adorable comic relief.
oh god, I can't stand them. I like the little ball. I love him, but
Haro's the mascot.
he stops coming around in the second one, and it's
So Haro's in like all Gundam series.
mm-hmm. I love him. He's great, but I don't love the stupid kids. And I thought at the beginning
It's so funny.
I would
Bro,
like
they removed all the bombs from the GMs though.
listen, that freaking thing. So, oh, we're gonna skip to that. So this is how like the ending of the second movie, and I assumed that this was like a finale arc that was like extremely rushed in film form. Like, did
Yeah,
that?
yes, the Jaburo fight is cut down. It's like 2.5 episodes or something in the series, and it's cut down to maybe like 10 minutes. And it does feel very quick, and they spend too much time on the kids and not enough time on the battle.
Okay,
Is
because
what I would say in the movie version.
I don't know, the kids sneak off, and then I don't know. All of a sudden, like Amuro shows up with all the guys, and I did like what is his name? That the guy. I know this is completely sidebarring, but I adored that plot line with Kai. Kai, that's his name.
Oh, Kai is amazing. So Kai, he shows up again in Zeta Gundam, and that's a very good episode and part of Gundam because it's like he's just been kind of been the jokester the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
and you start to realize that it's just kind of a front. That if he's
Yeah,
not making these jokes, he's not gonna fucking make it like mentally.
and
Um,
I mean he had like Ryu
and
die,
he breaks down
and then
when she
yeah, that
dies.
breakdown when she died was crazy.
Yeah,
Like
he
so much
completely
better.
breaks down over it. It's a very strong scene, very powerful.
It's awesome, and I mean it's kind of cheesy with like her ghost, but
So so mm, so I'm gonna say it might be. So hold on. I need to look up Kai's character page first.
I'll let it go. Like I don't think it should say, "Oh,
Let's
that
see.
hindered any of
Okay,
it."
yeah. So here's the thing. Kai is a new type. Um,
Ah,
he is not officially confirmed new type in the series, but he is in the novelization.
okay,
According to his character page here. Um, new types can sense people when they die.
yeah, like
They're
a
like
force ghost.
spirit, sort of actually, yes. Except that this came long before that. It's worth noting Gundam premiered like I think less than 2 months after A New Hope.
Damn.
They share a lot of similarities, but they're they still came out so close to each other. It's crazy.
Huh.
Um, but so Kai is a new type, and you'll see this. I mean, you see it in Char's counterattack. So you may remember towards the end when Char and Amuro fighting, they see this girl Lala Soon, the black girl, or she might appear as a bird in Char's counterattack.
She's she's in the third one because I looked it up because I
So
was like,
yes,
when does
she
this
is in
girl
the third
show up?
movie. Yes. And it seems that especially when new types themselves die, they seem to sort of advance to another plane of existence. Like mentally, their spirits are sort of freed. Um,
Okay.
but also new types themselves can sense sort of when people die, especially people that are close to them.
Mm-hmm.
So like for example, when Quest killed her father and didn't know it in Char's counterattack,
Mm-hmm.
she freaked out and she didn't know why because she just killed
Okay.
her father.
Yeah.
Um, with also for the people listening, yeah, to get him to watch these Gundam movies, I sat him down and made him watch Char's counterattack, having no prior knowledge. So we will be rewatching Char's counterattack at the end
I
of this.
I will say, to sidebar again, I've been very surprised with the strong female characters in all of this
Oh yes.
original because
Oh
Quest sucked
yes.
so
No,
much. I
Tomino.
hate her.
So I mean, Quest acts completely normal for like what you'd expect for like a like preteen girl who's infatuated with some manipulative man.
Right.
She acts completely as I'd expect. Yeah, she's annoying. Of course she is.
I liked Frau
You
Bo
met
a
a high
lot,
school
and then
girl?
she just became
You
she
fucking met
just
one?
became
My
like the
sis, I
babysitter.
had to live with one with my sister. I'll tell you, it was just as bad.
Yeah, no,
Okay, like, um, but yes, Tomino has always been an avid supporter of women's rights, and like their plights in society. I will say he does not always handle it super well, with the worst probably being in Zeta, where he tries to make women's rights and how they are treated, especially in the military, at the forefront of the theming of Zeta Gundam, and it's also probably where he fails the hardest. Um,
that
it
stinks.
Yeah, and that's, like, people's biggest complaint about Zeta Gundam, but when he does do it well, he does it very well, and with that being said, Zeta Gundam is, like, I think is probably the best Gundam series. It's, like, between
Okay.
that and Turn A. I'm biased with Turn A. I'd probably say it should probably be Zeta if I wanna discount my bias here.
What's the one that
Um,
doesn't have Char in it?
Zeta has Quattro, who's definitely not Char. You should not bring up Char to him because he's not Char. Stop
Okay.
telling him he's Char because he's not. He's never met
Until
Char in his life.
as you recently said, he has a speech where he says he's Char.
Yeah, where he says he's Char and then he says he's also not Char, which you'll see in the you'll see why he's not Char in the third movie.
Ah. So then, okay. So I've told you I'm gonna watch these. I'm invested. I enjoy them, and I want to see Char's counterattack, which we know is like the end of all of this. I don't want to watch the other two
So
shows.
here's the thing. So
But
if you
is
watch if
everyone
you
in them all?
if so Char isn't in Double Zeta.
Okay.
So here's the thing. If you watch Char's counterattack as the end of the as a conclusion to the saga of Amuro and Char, you're kind of fine just watching the original series. If you really want to understand things, then you kind of got to watch Zeta Gundam as well. And to get a little bit more, you got to watch Double Zeta, but honestly, even though some people get real pissed off about it, you absolutely can skip Double Zeta. Um, because either way, you're going to be wondering, how did Char get to this place of power? Why is he like this now? Don't know. You got to go read the manga. Sorry,
And why
but
does he look so different in Char's counterattack?
he's just older. He's
He
like
changed his whole
40 or
look though.
something.
He didn't have
Yeah.
like his whole
So
outfit.
okay, and also you also need to, so it's because you haven't seen doubles because you haven't seen Zeta, you don't really understand where you have to view it as he's literally having a midlife crisis.
Okay. All
His
right, I can get
goals
that.
for humanity were never accomplished, and he's basically freaking out.
And does Amuro grow as well? Like, is he way older in Char's counterattack?
Yeah, Char's counterattack is. Hold on.
I just kind of forget
Uh,
Amuro in that movie,
so
and that's
Amuro,
why I want
first
to
of all,
watch it
so you
again.
should know Amuro is 15 years old.
Right.
In Gundam. So and Char's counterattack. I'm trying to figure out when the hell this takes place. Hold on. In UC 93, so that's 14 years later. So
Okay.
Char is like 34.
And he's like 31.
No, he would be 29.
Uh,
Amro's like Amro's 15 in original Gundam.
yeah, didn't you just say it's how much?
It's 14 years.
Oh, you said 14 years. What the hell am I thinking of? Okay, I got you.
So it's been 14 years by then. And yeah, it's do I want you to watch Zeta? Yes, because I think it's even more impactful than original Gundam.
Hmm.
Um,
Are there
I'll say
movies?
there are compilation movies.
Okay.
So, but there's a caveat to them that's a little jarring. So these compilation movies for Zeta came out in the early 2000s, and they contain newly animated scenes and like redubbing and stuff. So you'll have this animation from the 80s, and then suddenly you'll have animation from 2002, and then animation from the 80s again, and it's really jarring. I
Uh,
haven't seen the movies myself, but I've heard it's very jarring to see that. And I know some people don't like the pacing and how some scenes are handled. I have not watched them myself, but I really do want to watch them because I love Zeta. And the Zeta Gundam itself is very cool, as well
Well,
as the Mark II, which is like one of my all-time favorites.
fuck it. If it's got movies, I'd give it a shot. How many are there?
3 again.
Gotcha. Oh, that thing looks awesome.
That is the Zeta Gundam.
Wow.
And yes, it transforms, and it transforms because Tomino saw Transformers and was like, "Holy shit!"
Which is based
Um,
off of Gundam, and then Gundam based things off of Transformers.
so like the um Zeta Gundam has a really fucked up ending. Like I remember finishing Zeta Gundam and being like, Wait, that's it? Are you fucking serious?"
This looks awesome, animation
Zeta Gundam's
wise.
fantastic. I really do recommend. Zeta Gundam had me. I'll say for the first like 10 episodes or so for Zeta, I was like, it's kind of whatever. And by the end of it, I was like, that was one of the best things I've ever watched. And
Hmm.
Camille is one of my favorite protagonists. He's my second favorite after Soletta from G Witch.
Hmm.
Camille's incredible and a super powerful new type. Um, but yeah, so and the thing about Zeta is because you want to understand the relationship between Amuro and Charmor, and you want
Hmm.
to also understand why there's a line in Char's counterattack where Amuro says, "We even fought together at one point." Um,
Oh, okay.
and also because you want to understand that Neo Zeon exists. There's a new Zeon Empire.
Ah,
Um, and Double Zeta is just dealing with the Neo Zeon Empire even more. So like and that's really all it provides in terms of context for Char's counterattack, which is why you don't really need to watch it.
so it strengthens the lore, but it doesn't really. It doesn't. You don't need to know everything.
Right. And with that being said, again, there is still a huge jump even from Double Zeta to Char's counterattack. And there's a lot of questions, and apparently they're all answered in like obscure manga and stuff that I haven't read, and don't
Okay.
know where to begin with it. But honestly, you're fine. You don't
Okay.
have to watch Zeta. I would still recommend it
Yeah.
because it is great.
Random
It's yes.
random question. When's that one where Amuro has like the arm, like he's got like one arm and he
What?
like shoot the thing you were talking about where he like shoots into the sky with his one
Oh,
arm.
that's the ending of the third movie.
Oh, okay. So I'll
Yeah,
see
and
that.
that's not in the show. That's the RX-78 last shooting. That is not in the show.
They put it in the movie?
Yeah, it's totally unique to the movie.
Wow.
You'll see, even the animation is like better.
So you've
Um,
seen the third movie, but you never saw the first two
no,
movies?
I've only seen that scene.
Oh shit.
I looked it up because when I saw it, I was like, RX-78 last shooting. I never saw that in original Gundam. Where is that? I looked
Why'd
up.
they
It's like,
add
oh,
that
it's in the
in?
movie.
If it's
They
like
they
so iconic, like they just added it in?
yeah, they decide to make a slightly different ending. It's just like an ending to like the fight between
Wow.
like Char and Amuro at the end, and it's just like super iconic.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, to kind of shift a little bit, I've been amazed the whole time at the animation of this.
It
Like,
holds
there's
up pretty
just some
well.
things really, really good. Like when these were on YouTube, and I saw the first one and a half on YouTube, and I was like just taking screenshots of like beautiful stills, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, I'm gonna put them in the video podcast, and then fucking Netflix, they got taken off, and then Netflix doesn't let you screenshot, and I was like, well, fuck that. But there are some beautiful animated, like just crazy goes hard, and and I was not expecting that for something that's this like.
That was my worry when I went to watch it. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like animation from 1979. And honestly, that was so stupid of me. It's such a stupid thing because oh my god, it's so good. And
Yeah,
that's
I
gotten me
mean,
to now do other things like Mazinger and Get a Robo. Get a Robo, which I've adored.
in terms of animation, no matter what it is, like people were inventing and doing crazy shit. I mean, when was like those old Lord of the Rings
Oh,
animated
those were the
things?
70s.
That was the 70s.
Yeah, that was
Like
before this.
like crazy. Yeah, 78. Like that was crazy animation stuff, and it
Oh yeah, and
holds up and looks
they were
cool.
still animating on animation cells until Gundam Seed in like 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, so Turn A Gundam is actually the last one to be animated on like their animation cells.
And this one that you sent gifts of, this is
Yeah, this is
Double
Zeta
Zeta?
Gundam.
Zeta?
Yep.
This looks great. This looks like
Zeta
something you would
Gundam
see
is
today.
amazing.
Yeah.
I will say the first GIF where that I sent of the Zeta Gundam transforming, that's from a new translation. That's definitely new animation.
No, even like the one that starts with the hand and then, like that whole
Yep,
the
that's
middle
from the
one here
opening.
looks awesome. Wow.
Yeah, I think you would love Zeta. Um, and something I wanted to kind of sort of track back to as well is I do want to ask how have you liked the actual like fights?
Uh, a lot of them are very cool. I mean, the goof one stands out as being
The
awesome in
goof
the
one
desert.
and any fight with Char, like where Char, because like you have to keep in mind Char's Zaku literally can't damage the Gundam,
Hmm.
so he just starts punching and kicking it.
Yeah,
It's
and like
so cool.
in two, his I don't know what that is, but when it's got like
Zagok.
the claws and
It's
he like
called the Zagok.
swings.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
an amphibious mobile suit called the Zagok. It's the Zagok. The little brown ones are called Act Guys, like the ones that are with him in like the jungle are called
Hmm.
Act Guys. And then they only show it in like 5 frames, but there's also a Zok, which is this big green one. See
Okay.
if I can find a picture of a Zok for you.
I love a lot of Char's vehicles. Like I love that they're all like aquatic based. He's got like a squid thing and like a oh man, what were the other ones? Yeah, hold on, I wrote them
Oh, and
down.
there's also the Gog. The Gog is also there very briefly.
Yeah.
The Gog being an iconic one that's very classic. I love it.
Oh, there's a duck. There was a turtle.
Um, yes, so I love that. I love that fight in the end. I love there's this there's this scene very very briefly where Amuro first spots him in the Zagok, and it's just him doing this little run like past the camera. That's really funny.
I love
It
that.
gets posted a lot. Um, I love the Zagok. It's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I love the Battle of Jaburo. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, when
The
Amuro throws his
Rampa.
shield and shoots through it.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
my
awesome
my
shit.
my favorite is the battle against Rambaral. When they fight Rambaral, and first of all, Rambaral literally cuts the Gundam shield in half, and then also cuts the Gundam open. And where he
Hmm.
sees Amuro, there's this insane thing. I don't know if you realized it, but after Amuro cuts open the goof and the Gundam is also open, and he climbs out to grapple hook away, Rambaral literally just pushes the metal of the goof aside.
I'm looking at my notes right now, and I have when he moved the molten metal out of the way to see Amuro through the crack in the goo. Like that's literally just all I wrote. It's so fucking cool.
Yes. Like, how the
He
fuck did
just
that guy
like
do that?
he like ripped it open. Like
And like,
oh,
and Ramba Rawl's actual death, where he sort of just sacrifice or dies there because like he's not gonna blow up Sailor, or Tegia, is pretty amazing. I like how even Amuro tries to him. It's pretty
mhm.
interesting. I just the Ramba Raw fight, and again, the Ramba Raw thing is kind of for a lot of people a good to great, and that's where like when I watched the original series, is really became invested.
Yeah. Oh, this GIF reminds me that like I think it's really cool, and I think I had it written down here. Um, I love how the mobile suits look like they're so hard to control. Like even though they can jump around and stuff, comments like, "Oh, when in the second one when Amuro sliced off Char's arm and he was like, "Was my balance off?" Like
Yep.
there's just things that make it seem like everything they do is so strategic. And I love that they can just like cut a limb off and it doesn't hurt them
Yeah.
because they're in the middle of the damn thing.
Which is
But it's
also,
just
by the way, they're in the middle because they're supposed to be designed like coffins as far as like the theming goes.
ah,
That's why they're
okay.
so kind of claustrophobic on the inside. They're like coffins. Which they kind of drop that as Gundam goes on, but yeah.
it's just so different. Like you look at mechs and how far they've come today, and like I've always compared Gundam, like just the idea of them. I always compare them to Pacific Rim, stupidly, and I'm like, those are controlled so differently, and like to think that the Gundam seems like such an
Well,
easy.
supposedly in Pacific Rim, the Russian one, the big green one,
Mm-hmm.
supposedly when they were designing it, they started with a Zaku, and they just
Oh,
built on it from there until they got to what they have now, and that's why it's like Zaku green.
okay, that's
Supposedly, I don't think it
interesting.
was ever confirmed, but the parent that's what people say.
Is in terms of being able to pilot things, is Sayla a new type?
Sayla's like the first new type.
Okay, because like she was able to just kind of jump in and start using it.
That's why you know when when Char mentions that he's been researching new types, he mentions it I think in like the end of the first movie, beginning of the second or something.
Okay.
He's talking about Sayla.
Oh,
She's been by his side for like a while now.
because he's a new type
Yes,
and
but
they can sense each other.
he hasn't really evolved into one yet. You're not
Okay,
born a new type. You sort of evolve into one.
gotcha.
Um, and it happens via as you spend more time out in space under extreme stress and emotion, you can become a new type.
Huh.
For some, it's fast. For some, it's not.
And you said that with in the future, new types can control the funnels, right? With their psych
Yeah. So
powers.
with the psycho units and what psycho frames and whatnot, they can control the funnels.
Gotcha. Also, what is the Zaku light? Like, what does that do?
What do you
The
mean?
the eyeball thing.
It's a camera.
Okay, so that's how they see.
Yeah, no, they have a few cameras, like all like the light up parts of what are cameras. Same with the Gundam. Its eyes are cameras. The light up on top of the head is a camera, and on the back is a camera. So the whole thing about mobile suits and why they're needed, they don't just have mecha to have giant robots to have giant robots. They have giant robots because the technology they had was basically making itself obsolete because of the generators they needed to power them. These
Okay.
generators created Minovsky particles, and they're also used to generate like the Gundams and stuff like that. And what happens with them though is these Minovsky particles basically will like they stop like all sorts of advanced sensors and instruments from working. And they cause like issues with that. So you basically need a visual feed. You need to actually be able to see your enemy in order to target them because you can't just use like auto targeting stuff anymore. And that's why they sort of make these because they're fast, agile ground and space units, but they can still see out of them. And they're not as bulky or slow as like a tank. They might not be as fast as like a jet, but they're still very mobile.
Okay.
So that's why they have them. That's where we kind of get into the real robot genre, which is what Gundam started.
Hmm.
Because Mecha before Gundam was like you had like Getter Robo and like Mazinger and whatnot, and where it's like they're like super powered, like they're basically superheroes, right? Um, and it's like, oh yeah, that robot can fucking grow wings because fuck you, it's cool, it can do that. Um, but like with Gundam and whatnot, it's that it's all explainable in one way or
Yeah.
another. So it's even
Nah.
like even going back to wings, the Gundam I have, the Wing Zero and the Squalts with the Angel Wings.
Yeah.
The Angel Wings are supposed to be variable thrusters that can sort of each feather is a thruster that can point in another direction. I think I haven't seen Endless Waltz, but I think that's actually like what it's supposed to be.
Uh, so it's just an additive to your mobile suit, but it just looks cool.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's explained,
Yeah.
right? It's explained in some, at least somewhat logical manner. And that's real robot. Real robot is like you can explain it within,
Hmm.
like, it has all the physics and everything works out and explained. That's a real robot series. And if it's not a real robot, then it's a super robot series. So, like, Getter
Okay.
Robo would be like Super Robot. Pacific Rim would be Real Robot, right? Like, it's like, okay, they have these big machines, they actually like, they're not like harnessing the energy of the universe or something.
But you know what? Super Robot Power Rangers.
Yes. Yes, a Megazord will be classified as a super robot.
Because
Yes.
it's just like stupid, unexplainable robot.
Yeah. So that would be super robot. Yes.
But what I love about what I'm learning that I love about the idea of Gundam is that they are all just man-made things that are basically like an exosuit on a large scale. Like it's just a person in a thing, and I think that that's I was noticing that a lot. You're like, oh, I'm just basically seeing the person. Like this goof fight is just if you had a sword fight, but then
Yeah.
when
It's
you put it in scale, it's like, oh, they're
especially with
huge.
original Gundam, where because of like the animation, they all just kind of move like people too.
Yeah.
You don't really have that as much with the later series because, like, they should still move like robots. Um,
And they're in
but yeah,
space and flying
it's interesting.
around.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and did you you said flying around and made me think, did you like the scene where, Amuro ran off with the Gundam? He's like, because they were gonna take him off the Gundam, and when he like
He
ejects from it,
floats
he just sort of
away.
flies straight out.
Yes, he just kind of
So
floats.
my favorite part about that is that uh it's not even like they're in space. There's gravity. They're like
Yeah.
in a desert. So he should be falling and he just doesn't. It's funny.
He has no like thruster or anything. He just floats.
Yeah. And
And that
what do you think of the gun cannon and the gun tank?
I like the gun cannon. I
I
liked
really, when I first started watching, like, gun cannon's okay, but now that I've like gotten sort of warmed up to it, I'm like, the gun cannon's fucking awesome.
yeah, I like that they are two notably antiquated pieces of machinery.
They're very
Like
neat.
like they talk about it like, oh, we needed a Gundam because this thing can only shoot in one direction, or this thing needs to be reloaded or operated by multiple people. Like they talk about the faults of their old equipment,
Yes.
and
And so the Gundam is actually built off the gun cannon.
right, and it
And I
looks
think the
very
gun
similar.
cannon is built off the gun tank. And I think the gun tank is cute. It's adorable.
Yeah,
So
and
the gun
Ryu
tank
handled
also
it
has
like a
like
boss.
immense firepower is like its thing as well.
Yeah,
Is that it has like much heavier like firepower.
I like that they
Excluding a beam weaponry. But I also just I love the design. I love the gun cannon. I love the gun tank.
I like the
Um,
spaceships that they have too. I forget what they're
yes, the
called.
spaceships are cool. Their spaceship specifically is called a White Base, and it's an experimental ship.
No, no, White Base I love. White Base I love, and I hope I would love to see a gunpla like a kit of that because
They've had like they have like ship kits and whatnot. I don't know when the last time a White Base one was printed, but they have a bunch of like seed ones at Gundam Pros where I buy all my stuff.
okay. But even then, there's another one. I think I wrote it down. What they're called? The little like spaceships that fly out of
That really
White
narrows it down.
Base. No, they look like little like Jedi starfighters. They just look like
Oh,
spaceships.
the core fighters.
Okay, is
The
that what?
core fighters that go inside of the Gundam and stuff?
Yeah, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. So the core fighters are neat. So first of all, when you buy a master grade like Gundam and whatnot, it comes with a core fighter. And so
Mm-hmm.
you can actually build a core fighter and you can put it on the inside or you can leave
That's
it out.
neat.
Also, the way they fold and unfold?
Yes, yeah.
So that they do that, their actual kits physically do that. Is exactly how you fold them up to put them inside the Gundam.
Huh. That's cool. Yeah, they're really neat.
Yes. They're cool. And then you see the GMs in the Battle of Jaburo, um, which is the ones that like they're putting the bombs on.
Those big round ones.
They have
Oh
very round
no,
heads.
no, the little like mini Gundams.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that the kids mistake for a Gundam. So the GM is actually the mass-produced version of the Gundam.
Okay.
While the Gundam itself actually is has better performance. The GM, first of all, again, it's mass produced. It's about equal to like the prototype Gundam. Is probably what I'd say.
So does the
But yeah,
Federation have them and use those?
yes, no, they start mass producing and deploying these things all over the place.
Gotcha.
But they are also quickly outclassed. Because then you end up getting like um the Gelgoog gets into mass production, and that's a problem. The Gelgoog is like a major problem for the Federation.
Elgoog. I feel like I know what
You
that
you
one
don't you don't
was.
see it in this. You'll see it in the next one.
Oh, okay.
Um, but the Gelgoog is pretty cool. A lot of the 1 Year War stuff is all really cool, honestly.
Trying to write down. I had tried to write down like anyone that I had, like Gogs.
Oh yeah, there's also the Gyan. The Gyan will
What was the
outclass
one
the
that?
Gundam pretty heavily as well.
What's the silly one that I had written down? Nope, that's the Gog. A Grublo? Was that one?
No, it wasn't.
What did I write that down for? Yes, it is. The MAM 07 Grublo is a mobile armor. I forget what he was from, but he was cute. Oh, is this the submarine?
That thing. It's the underwater ship they use when they approach Jaburo.
Yeah, the little
Yes,
duck-looking
yes,
one.
yes. Yeah, so that's technically a mobile armor. Mobile armors are basically, just think of them like big mobile suits essentially. They're not as mobile or whatnot. Um, but you'll see. We got the Big Zam coming up in the next movie. Everyone loves the Big Zam.
The Big Zam.
Everyone loves Big Zam.
Yeah, they're just so cool. And I guess so. Can I feel that I have learned the definition of what we're dealing with here, and I want to see if I have it correct. A mobile suit, a Gundam is a type of mobile suit, but not every mobile suit is a Gundam.
Correct.
Because a Gundam is a new version of a mobile suit that I mean, that's why the White Base was considered the Trojan horse, because it had a new type of mobile suit they'd never seen before, correct?
Right.
All right. I'm so
Yes,
smart.
and so in the future, the only things that are called Gundams are really just if they visibly resemble the original.
Okay. So not
At least
everything.
as far as the original series goes. So you have like the Mark II gun and the Zeta Gundam because they have the V fin up on the head.
Uh-huh. Which is a gun, isn't it? It like shoots a laser.
That's the Double Zeta.
Oh, okay. I
The
felt like
Double Zeta
Amuro's could
Gundam
shoot.
does that, and it is pretty cool. The Double Zeta Gundam is also a reference to
Oh yeah, I have him
Getter
right
Robo.
here. I have
Yeah,
that one built.
so you built the Double Zeta?
I think so.
When'd you build the Double Zeta?
Hold on, let me see if this is him.
The hell? I don't remember doing that
Um,
because he done the Knight and the Calibarn.
who's this guy? Oh no, I got this guy with a fucking. He looks like him. That's not him, but he looks like him.
Can you send me a picture?
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. He's got like a stinger on his hand. He like
Also,
shoots a.
if you've ever seen Ready Player One, by the way, when the Gundam
Mhm.
shows up, it does the Double Zeta pose.
Okay,
Yeah, the Double Zeta has like a laser on the head camera thing, and it's very powerful and very cool.
gotcha. What's the one that he has broken his arm off and he's hitting the goof? What's this one?
So that I'm just posting because I knew you'd like it is 8th Mobile Suit Team.
Oh, that's the one you love.
What you have is the Sandrock. That's from Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. The
Okay,
Sandrock is very cool.
gotcha. And you say that's
So
a Gundam Wing. Sorry, we're on all these different things.
yeah, we're
Gundam
jumping
Wing
around
must
now.
have a Gundam in it then.
In Gundam Wing, yes,
Is
there's
that the
like
Gundam?
it's one of them.
Okay, so are
So
you saying that
Gundam Wing has
other?
like 5 or 6 or something like Gundams that all go down
Gotcha.
into the war. There's Sandrock, Heavy Arms, Wing, Death Scythe. Um, I don't. Again, I haven't actually seen Gundam Wing myself, so
Okay.
there's more.
So the original movies are a big deal because they introduce what the Gundam is. And then in the future, other people make multiple types of
So
Gundams.
Wing is a different universe.
Gotcha. Okay. So that doesn't even have Zeons and
No,
Amuros and Federation, nothing.
it doesn't even have new types. I don't think. I think the
Wow.
only series with new types is like Universal Century.
Huh. This is so complex and convoluted.
Honestly, like you could just pick a universe and stick to it. But if you're gonna pick one, Universal Century is probably the best one to stick to. Universal
Okay.
Century is what gets all the kits printed, and like some, it's like they're not gonna be printing like new stuff for some like obscure series, you know? Like they're probably not
Yeah.
gonna update some of these kits.
Well, some of
But
them are
yeah,
based on like there's like a blood something, and it looks like it's oh no, battle something. It's like a mobile game. Battle.
okay. So there's a few. So there's
They make kits off
uh
of them, like
there's
Battle
Battle
Log.
Operation 2. Oh, Battle Log. So Battle Log is a part of Build Divers or Mobile Gundam Build. And Build is literally uh Spy Kids 3 Mecha Fight. They're literally
Really?
playing a video game. But what
Okay.
they do is they build their custom kits, and then they build their custom kits, and then they fight them like in an arena.
Like a Beyblade or a Yu-Gi-Oh.
Sort of like a Yu-Gi-Oh. Yes, like a Yu-Gi-Oh. I haven't watched them, but apparently they're all very good. I've heard Battlelog is kind of whatever, but it's also only like 3 episodes. Like it's just a short OVA they made.
Some of the
Um,
kits of it are
and the
sick.
Battlelog kits are very cool. I just finished a kit from Battlelog, the Command Quanti, which is very cool. And there's the Live Lance Heaven, which I love. Um, I need to watch them. They're apparently very good. But like like Gundam Breaker 4 that just came out. That's Gundam Build, from what I understand.
Okay.
Again, in fact, actually, the characters from Battlelog I think show up in Gundam Breaker 4. Um, I
Jeez.
have not seen any of the Gundam Build series myself yet, so maybe I'm wrong and I'm butchering that. But from what I understand,
Oh,
that's
I've
how it
seen
works.
this
And
Gundam Build
also,
Fighters.
it's some people. There's a fan theory that it's Gundam Valhalla. So,
Oh
for
my god.
example, Rambo Rawl is there.
Okay, like we're
Rambo
all
Rawl's
the
dead, but
yeah.
he shows up in Build Divers as like a character. It's just Rambo Rawl.
It's Super Smash Bros. Gundam
So
pilots.
some people are like, what if it's just Valhalla for like Mobile Suit Pilots?
That's pretty awesome.
Which is neat. Um, they're apparently all very good. They're a lot more lighthearted and silly and fun. But I've heard they're all pretty good.
Huh.
It's probably it's coming up soon on my to watch list. I really want to get to them soon.
Wow. There's
Um,
just so much here.
but earlier we were Eighth Mobile Suit Team because I posted that GIF with the goof because I knew you'd like it. Eighth
Yes.
Mobile Suit Team is it's a 12 episode OVA. You can watch it on Hulu. It's one of the prettiest Gundam projects ever made. It's fantastic. It also has like a Romeo and Juliet thing going on, where like the main character's on the Federation, but his love interest is actually like a Xeon pilot. Um,
Is that the one that had the frame that you tweeted recently? You were like, "This is the most beautiful frame from any Gundam," and it was like a Gundam with the sun shining down on it, and it was like my
oh
beloved.
no,
It's
that was Turn A Gundam.
oh, okay.
Turn A Gundam's amazing.
That was pretty. That was very good
Um,
looking.
but Eighth Mobile Suit Team is very good. It's only 12 episodes, so it's a lot shorter. Um, It's fantastic. It has a Romeo and Juliet story, which while normally Romeo and Juliet story would turn me away because I've heard the Romeo and Juliet story so many times, I'm sick of it. It's actually really good in this.
Huh.
I will say the first half is like pretty good. And then the last half of the show is phenomenal. And I was looking it up, and then I felt really bad about it because they changed directors halfway through because the first guy died. He died in a car crash. They got a new director, and I'm like, oh shit, now I feel bad.
Oh,
But
but they
Eighth Mobile Suit
still.
Team is fantastic, and I definitely recommend giving it a watch.
Hmm. 12 episodes
It
is not
takes
daunting.
place. It takes place, by the way, during the 1 Year War. So when Original Gundam takes place in like the last month of the 1 Year War. I forget where Eighth Mobile Suit Team. No, it would be in that last month because they have Gundams. Um, in the last month as well, so in the same time period. But it's all in like Southeast Asia, I believe. And it's heavily inspired by the Vietnam War.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How do they get their hands on Gundams?
So so first of all, this kind of leads to a whole thing where it's like they keep putting Gundams into the 1-year war, even though there was only ever supposed to be the one.
Okay.
And so
The
these are
mass-produced
Gundam
ones.
ground types. They cannot operate in space. They don't have jetpacks and whatnot.
Ah.
Um, they are made using spare parts from the Gundam. So there's like 6 of them or something,
Mhm.
and they're made using spare parts from the Gundam. So
So they
they're
all
not as
look
durable.
like
They're not ne
Frankensteins?
they're not no, they're pretty consistent. They look very good actually. I
Hmm.
love the Gundam ground types. And but like they get destroyed pretty easy. Like the one I posted here with it ripping its arm off and taking a swing at the Goof Custom. That's the Easy 8, which is actually a Gundam ground type that's been pretty heavily modified after being damaged.
Okay. Huh.
But the Gundam ground types are very cool.
Yeah, that animation looks awesome.
Yes, it is very pretty. What
That
I
was
do want to know, what's your like favorite of like the suits so far?
certainly the goof. Um,
The Goof is so good.
it's really neat. I like Char's. I mean, I always like Char's mobile suit. I like the one in one better than two though, because I mean,
The Zaku.
yeah, like
Yeah,
his
I mean,
Zaku.
the Zaku is it's iconic.
Yeah,
The
that's like
Zaku is like the Xeon mobile suit. Um,
that stood out to me in Char's counterattack, and I just love seeing it again.
um, in Char's counterattack, do you mean like just the red? Because like he had the Sasabi
Oh
in
right, no,
Char's counterattack.
it is different, but yeah, I like I don't
Yeah,
know, I like his red Zaku looking thing,
it's really
whatever.
good. It's worth noting, by the way, the original Zaku designer, whose name currently escapes me, um, they weren't planning on selling toys of like the Zaku and a lot of these other non Gundam suits. So the creator of them just had free reign for whatever he wanted to do. So there are all these like really practical like looking suits, and like he really put a lot of thought into how they would work as like as like a mecha and whatnot. And as a result, you have, you know, some of the most iconic like mech suits ever made.
Wow. Yeah, I mean they have a really neat look to them, and
Yeah, no, and I love that that Xeon sort of has this mono eye thing that they always
yeah.
do. All their suits are this cool mono eye, and in every Gundam series going forward, there's always some suit that is either like a Zaku or it has some sort of, excuse me, some sort of element of the Zaku's design in it, whether it be a mono eye or whatever else.
Hmm.
Like there's always some sort of suit there that has the spirit of a Zaku still.
Yeah. I mean, even that one that the first one I fell in love with, the that dude from Char's counterattack with the green one. It's like, you know, the eagle looking Zaku thing.
Oh, the oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on it. It's the Jagged Doga.
Yeah, the jagged Doga, that freaking thing
Yeah, the Jagged
kicks
Doga
ass.
is very good. I was just looking at the kit again today, and I was thinking, you know, I should get it and I should paint the yellow parts gold.
Yes.
I was just looking at it this
Is
morning.
that a Zaku? It has the one.
No, I mean, it's not a Zaku, but it has the mono eye,
Okay.
and that's the thing is you
Yeah.
still have this essence of it. You also have the Hyzak, which shows up once, um, to pick up like quests and char or whatever when they're on the colony. It's the one that's like white and blue. It's very colorful.
Isaac.
Here, the hobby Hyzak. It shows up literally for a singular scene. I'll put it in the chat. It's really cool, and I really want the kit, but it's a
Oh,
premium
dang.
Bandai. Um, it's a premium Bandai kit, and it came around earlier this year, and I didn't get it at the time, and
That's
I wish
awesome.
I did.
It's like Iron Patriot if he was a Zaku.
Iron Patriot, if he was awesome.
Yeah. And not a pussy.
but the Hyzak's really cool. There's some other variants of it, in particular the Advance of Zeta Hyzak Custom, which I actually just pre-ordered the kit of. I'm glad I got it because it went out of stock very quickly. Is another version of it. There's like so many little side stories that are also filled with mobile suits, like that aren't even like these main series that you're gonna see and be like, what the hell is this thing from?
That looks awesome with its spikes.
Yes, the Hyzak custom is very cool.
Do
But
they
like you
have
have this advance of Zeta stuff that's just like, what the hell is going on, man? It's like, where are these mobile suits coming from?
Do they have Rambarol's goof as a kit?
That's just the goof.
Oh, okay. With the blue with the horns and everything?
Yeah, it's literally just the goof. Make sure it's not the goof custom though, because the goof custom is the one from Eighth Mobile Suit Team. Which I
Okay.
prefer. I prefer the goof custom. I think it's really cool. It's from Battlelog. The goof, sorry, the
Oh,
goof
there we
custom
go.
is from Eighth Mobile Suit Team, but I like the Battlelog version, which is red.
Oh,
It's just the goof crimson custom. I have this kit. It's very good.
that's sick. Yeah, I want this regular goof. It's cheap.
Yeah, no, the goof is like an old kit.
It looks so sick. Oh, stop. We're getting sidetracked. Uh, this freaking one you just sent above the red one looks like it's got a face hugger on it.
That is the Psycho Blade of Woundwort, and what it is, it's so I actually have like a thing where someone 3D printed a better one, but that's supposed to be like the angel on like the front of a ship. Um,
Oh,
like
like the
like the
mermaid on the front of like a
yeah, yeah,
boat.
exactly. It's supposed to be one of those.
Wow,
Um, but I found someone where someone's selling like a better version that they made that I'm gonna pick up for when that thing comes in like next year or something.
crazy. And what was that? The black and orange one that you made, the first one I ever saw you make. Where was that from?
Black and orange.
The one you made at the build day with me.
Oh, that is the Comfort Schwer. It's black and yellow, and it's that is from one of the Gundam build series. Again, what
Okay,
it is, they took the Comfer and they took the Senanju and just sort of mashed them together.
so Gundam build is just a way to get like cool looking kits.
Pretty much,
Like,
yeah, and they're just fun series, I guess.
huh. Well, you know what else is a fun series? This fucking Mobile Suit Gundam.
It's
And
so good, man.
I know we didn't like go through every story beat, but this is what we were gonna do. We just
This
gotta
is
go ham on it. And I mean, we're gonna do more. Obviously, we'll. Um, I have notes as I do with every single one of these VGU guidance. We come here, we do a bunch of word vomit, and then I go back and I look at my notes and I delete the things we did touch upon. And next time I'll talk about anything
I
I may have
love Word
forgotten.
Vomit. It's what I'm best at.
It's so good. It's great to be here. But yeah, I mean, we have the third one coming up in a couple of weeks.
The 27th, we will be seeing that in theaters. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, and I'm very excited to see how this arc ends. And I don't know. We've kind of discussed it. We kind of, we'll figure out if we're gonna do a part two then, or if we'll, I don't know, if we'll do an episode. I mean, we got an hour and a half out of two movies, so we could potentially watch three and Char's
Yeah,
counterattack
I'm
again.
thinking we'll watch 3 and then just rewatch Char's Counterattack, and then we'll go see Char's Counterattack anyways in theaters in March because I want to see it on the big screen.
Yeah, because you probably watch it every week anyway.
I used to, and now I watch Hathaway every week.
Who is it? Suda51 that watches it every.
Oh, yeah. Sudi
Sw-
51 watches Char's Counterattack every month. They have a monthly showing of it in the studio.
That's crazy, but it's so funny. It's like it makes sense to get inspired, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited, and then we're gonna watch. You want to watch Hathaway, and
Oh, well, I got a lot to say about Hathaway when we get to Hathaway.
it's gonna be
I
great.
could talk about it for days on it. And it's only one of 3.
Jesus Christ! And the third one's coming out, right? It hasn't come out yet.
The second one isn't even out yet.
Oh, okay. Did
Yeah,
you
they,
watch
they've
the?
they've been taking a while.
Did you watch the VR one at all yet?
No, it's a Quest exclusive.
Oh.
I've heard it's whatever, honestly.
And what about that Netflix one that's coming?
Oh, Seed
Is
Freedom. They
that
you need to watch all of Seed to understand what's going on in that, and I'm getting through Seed slowly. Like I said, Seed is kind of okay. It's decent. It's not crazy, but it's it's all right.
That's the one that's like CG, like the
Yeah,
big...
yeah. I mean, in the movie they are, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's so damn much, but I'm excited that I finally know some stuff and I'm learning about more. So
I'm learning. I'm watching. I'm listening. I'm
I
here.
am. I'm here. I'm present, and I'm
A Gundam fan is speaking.
I'm
Be
soaking it
quiet and
all in.
listen. All right, sit and listen.
Well, if you are interested in more crazy Gundam tangents, you can go and check out our YouTube channel where we have a Gundam Evolution video that the two of us did together. I will put that in the description. It
That
did
video's great.
It's great. It popped off.
It's mostly you wondering what's going on and me screaming in the background because I'm
It's
dominating on the Barbados.
It has one of my favorite moments where you're like, I'm floating around in space, and you just go, "Why do you break every game?"
I mean, it's a valid question.
It's like I can't ever get any game to work. But that's me. I mean, this podcast should have started like a half hour before it did because of me. So, oh well. But yeah, so follow us for more, semi-weekly. We'll be here. We'll see you again at some point. Honestly, between the point that you hear this and the second part, there may be another Doctor Who Reverse the Polarity episode, because I put that up. That's Alan and Javon talking about their Doctor Who podcast on this. I put it on this feed because it's it's retrospective stuff, and
And also because Doctor Who's awesome. And
Doctor Who kicks ass. Exactly. They're talking about this most recent season. They're recapping all of it, and it's, as someone who does not follow Doctor Who, it's very, honestly, really intriguing to see how just zany that freaking show is. Like
Oh yeah.
I've looked at
It's
so many
refreshing 'cause
clips.
it's super original.
Yeah, and it looks like it's like they're enjoying it. It seems like it's doing pretty good this season. So or it was. It's over now, I think, but that's exciting. So yes, please follow for more. We will see you again soon, and see Xeon.
Big Xeon, yeah. Yeah, Fetty's seething right now.